All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, with the start of the 2022 NFL season right around the corner, who has what it takes in order to win the NFC South? Now, I'm going to start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And after being close to repeating last year's Super Bowl champs, can the Buccaneers make it to Super Bowl titles in the last 3 years? Now, a lot of changes for the Bucs heading into this season. Bruce Arians retired as the head coach of the Bucs, and he was replaced by defensive coordinator Todd Bowles. It looked like Tom Brady was retiring, and then after that, he did the old okey doke and came right back. So he's back for his third year as the Buccaneers starting quarterback. You still have Byron Leftwich as Tampa Bay's offensive coordinator after flirting with becoming the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. But first and foremost, you have Brady. And when you have Brady as your quarterback, obviously your team is immediately in championship contention. But obviously, as good as Tom Brady has been throughout his career, he cannot do it by himself. So it's all about the talent pool around him. Tampa Bay was able to bring back veteran running back Leonard Fournette and playoff Lenny. You know, he runs hard and he's a big physical back, and that's going to be important for this Bucs offense. Now, Tampa Bay lost some pieces, but they're still good to go. They lost tight end Rob Gronkowski to retirement. OJ Howard, who had been off injured, is now a Buffalo Bill at tight end as well. But you get the former Minnesota Viking and former New York Giant in Kyle Rudolph at tight end, a team with Cameron Brate. And for my money, Cameron Brate has been an underrated tight end, especially because he kind of falls between the cracks due to the fact of the talent that he has around him. Now, you have Mike Evans, who is one of the better wide receivers in the NFL. Now you have a healthy Chris Godwin. Remember, Godwin was lost late in the season last year, and that really changed a lot of things for what the Bucs could and could not do offensively. And then you bring in a veteran like Julio Jones, and of course, Julio Jones is not the playmaker that he was during his prime with the Atlanta Falcons. But now you give him an opportunity to be on a championship caliber ball club. And on top of that, you know, he has a lot of talent around him at the wide receiver position. So I think Julio Jones could come in and have a solid impact for this team. No Ryan Jensen at center for a bulk of the season as he was lost at the beginning of training camp to injury, but the Bucs are hopeful to have him back at some point. But nonetheless, he's the anchor on that line, and that's going to be big. You still have Tristan Wirfs, a youngster who is coming into his own, and I think this offensive line will gel as the season progresses. Now, on the flip side, defensively for Tampa Bay, you got some veterans and some guys that know how to get it done. I look in that front seven with the likes of Shaq Barrett, Levante David, and Devin White. And you're talking about speed and power right there between those three at the linebacking position. And that's going to be important in this Todd Bowles cover two set. That back four on this Tampa Bay defense is very talented. Antoine Winfield Jr. in a quick span has become one of the better safeties in the NFL. You bring in a veteran in Logan Ryan who knows how to get it done. He played with the Patriots, the Titans, and the Giants, and now he's with the Bucs. You get the former Falcon Keanu Neal coming over, and you still have Carlton Davis in that secondary as well. So it's going to be interesting to see because I know that the critics are going to be out for Todd Bowles as head coach, but hands down, Todd Bowles didn't have a talented club like this when he was the head coach of the New York Jets, and he also did not have Tom Brady. So this Bucs team, I think they're going to be in the mix again right out of the chute. They'll be in Arlington to take on the Dallas Cowboys. They're on the road to take on the New Orleans Saints in week number 2, and that's important because this Saints team, who is a good team, has given the Bucs and Brady problems over the last couple of years. Since joining Tampa Bay, Brady is just 1-4 against New Orleans, and that one win came in the postseason. Now, week 3, Tampa Bay will host Green Bay. Week 4, they host Kansas City in the Super Bowl rematch. And of course, the one that a lot of people are always going to be talking about, week number 9, when the Bucs welcome the Rams to Los Angeles. And we all remember that thriller in the postseason this past January. Now, for the New Orleans Saints, it's transition time for them as well, as longtime head coach Sean Payton has stepped down and he is replaced by defensive coordinator Dennis Allen. Now, a big question for the Saints team: can quarterback Jameis Winston stay healthy? The former first overall pick of the Bucs looked like things were finally coming together for him in New Orleans with the Saints until he had that knee injury last year that shelved him. Winston is back and he does look healthy. And if the Saints cannot get it done with Winston for whatever reason, they do have another veteran to back him up in Andy Dalton. And say whatever you want about Dalton, he's been a solid quarterback throughout his tenure in the NFL. Multiple trips to the postseason as a starting QB of the Cincinnati Bengals, and he'll bring some veteran leadership to that quarterback room. What's going to be the availability of Alvin Kamara? We have to wait and see. It's Pete Carmichael calling the show on offense for New Orleans, and there's some talent to work with at the wide receiver position. Michael Thomas can come back healthy, and then you also bring in the former Cleveland Brown wide receiver Jarvis Landry. A lot of veteran presence on this offensive line with Ryan Ramczyk as well as Andrew Pete at guard. And that's going to be important because I think this Saints offense, if everybody is there, could be one of the better and more cohesive units in the NFL this season. Defensively, New Orleans is once again talented. Cam Jordan on that defensive line continues to get it done as he's a man's man. And then you look at middle linebacker Demario Davis. And then on the back four, you have Marshawn Lattimore. And then a homecoming as the Saints are able to sign Tyrann Mathieu. And the former LSU standout is looking to make a big time impact on the Saints defense. And again, if the Saints can get Jameis Winston healthy and keep him healthy, I think they are going to be a problem in the NFC. Talked about that week 2 matchup with Tampa. Week number 11, the Saints will host the defending Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams. Week 12 at San Francisco, and in week 13 at Tampa Bay in a game that could decide who wins the NFC South. Now, for the Atlanta Falcons, it's a new era for them, as for the first time since 2007, they'll be a different starting quarterback under center for them, as Matt Ryan was traded this offseason to the Indianapolis Colts. Now, it more than likely is going to be Marcus Mariota, the former Titan and Raider. The Falcons did draft Felipe Franks out of Cincinnati, pardon me, Desmond Ritter, excuse me, out of Cincinnati this year, who they are high on. And then you also have the other youngster in Felipe Franks. Now, no Calvin Ridley, as he was suspended by the NFL, but last year's rookie tight end Kyle Pitts showed tremendous promise, and he's going to look to build off of that this year as he looks to avoid the dreaded sophomore jinx. Offensive tackle Jake Matthews continues to get it done. So I think that the Falcons do have some promise on offense. Defensively, though, that could be another story. They only had 18 sacks last year, which was last in the NFL, and that's not going to get it done, especially in this division with these quarterbacks. You have cornerback AJ Terrell, who is one player to keep an eye on. But for head coach Arthur Smith, I think this Falcon team this year is going to be a work in progress as the season goes on. And finally, we have the Carolina Panthers. And one thing that you can say about the Panthers in recent years is that they've been consistently bad. The Panthers have managed to win just 5 games in each of the last 3 years. Now, this is year number 3 under Matt Rule as Carolina's head coach. And if they don't, show some improvement, I don't see how he can return as the head coach of this club for 2023. It's been a revolving door under Rule at quarterback, and it looks like Baker Mayfield is going to be the starting quarterback for this club by default. Matt Corral, injured. Sam Darnold, injured. And that leaves Mayfield, the former first overall pick by the Cleveland Browns. Now, I think Mayfield will be very motivated to prove a lot of his skeptics wrong heading into this season, but he still needs talent around him. Christian McCaffrey has only appeared in 10 games over the last 2 seasons. Yes, he is one of the better playmakers at the running back position when he's healthy, but you cannot help your club if you're standing on the sideline in sweats. Now, there is talent at the wide receiver position if Baker can get them the ball with the likes of DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and Terrence Marshall. But with that said, there are too many questions on this Carolina offensive line as they gave up 52 sacks last year. And for Baker coming from one of the better offensive lines in the NFL to Charlotte to this mess, it's going to be an uphill battle for him. Now, you have defensive end Brian Burns for Carolina, who's one of the better edge rushers, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough for Matt Rule to survive this year, as he really has his work cut out for him. Everybody knows about the Week 1 meeting for the Carolina Panthers against the Cleveland Browns. I think Baker Mayfield will definitely be motivated for that one, but still, I think it's going to be very tough for Carolina to be a playoff team this year. So when it's all said and done, I like the Bucs to win this division once again. And after taking a step back, I think the Saints are going to have some footing under them. I think they're going to be a playoff team this year. And I think heading into the postseason, they could be a very dangerous team. Atlanta will show some signs of improvement, while Carolina will be up and down. And of course, those ups and downs won't be enough for them to make the playoffs or have Matt Rule save his job. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I'm signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.